Well, welcome to our research into our film. The first thing we looked at was genre. Now, genre is the term for any category of literature as well as various other forms of art culture, so e.g. music and film. And
But in the term of films, this really relates to what type of film it is. So that goes into thriller, horror, fantasy, sci-fi, rom-coms, and the list really goes on for a long time.
Our 2-minute video is going to be on the genre horror. That's what we're going to be focusing on.
And but problem with that is there's a very fine line between the genres, and we're trying to stick between horror and don't go anywhere else.
The conventions of horror are pretty straightforward. For example, gore, violence, isolation and naive people.
When it comes to the genre of horror, there's a lot of subgenres, and that includes slasher, gore, psychological, and there's so many more, including like supernatural, which is like werewolves and vampires and stuff.
A few examples of that: Scream, which is a slasher, Hostel, which is a gore, and Paranormal Activity, which is a supernatural horror.
In the second part of our research, we decided to look into the last 40 years of horror films and took the most iconic weapons and villains and tried to find out how they stuck into the public domain.
For example, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street had no skin and he wore a striking red and black shirt and a black hat. But his outfit wasn't the most frightening thing, it was his weapon and his methods of killing.
Yeah, his method of killing was actually quite frightening. He went inside people's dreams and killed them from the inside, which for some reason they killed them on the outside as well. But it was quite scary because they were helpless in there and everyone has to sleep, so for all you know, Freddy might be waiting for you.
Yeah, and this carries through many different...
So taking this into account, we wanted our villain to follow these media conventions, but yet we wanted to create our own new villain.
So we went about trying to modernise our villain, but yet keep a very typical scary character.
Typically, scary characters will be someone who is unnerving, creepy and anonymous.
For example, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2 has a mask, and Michael Myers from the film Halloween has also got a mask.
Josh managed to source a great image from DeviantArt, and that's the picture you see here.
We didn't want to go so far into typical horror that our villain was wearing a mask, but we needed something to help conceal his identity, and that's why the hood is perfect and it also brings a modern vibe to it.
We found 2 other films which use villains who are hooded, and these were the films F, which you should be looking at now, and Eden Lake. Right, we're in Sandwich Park, trying to find some woods. There's Josh.
Location 2.
This is location 2. Location 1 was a big failure, being that they had fenced it off nastily. There's already a few issues with this, being that there's houses here, 2, there's a lot of traffic, and 3, Josh is here.
Yep, I am here.
He's a big issue.
Where's my... It's the issue.
Big issue. Right.
Okay. There's a little wood there.
There's a little bit of woods, but
Then
already, yeah, already there's very loud traffic.
and there's a lake.
Yes, and there's swans there, if you can see the swan.
Swans there, nice.
Yes, they're very pretty swans.
Very pretty swans.
And it'd be very hard to get a good day of filming here without getting interrupted a lot, being that there's tennis courts here. Okay, this is location 2, area 2 in Sandbach Park, obviously still here.
By the looks of it, looks pretty good. Got ready.
Okay, I can always already see a couple issues. Again, houses there, and also the evergreens do make it kind of. They do kind of ruin the effect of it being a horror.
We've got trees like these, really.
Yeah, these are the trees we need. Bare, thin. Whereas these ones
are not.
Thank you for that input. Right,
I'll look a gander inside.
Oh, he's being eaten by the trees.
Oh no, oh no.
Yeah, it's crap in here.
Oh no, there we go. There's the wood.
Yep, okay. That concludes
Location 2.
Area 2.
Area 2.
Okay, we're at the back of Sandbach Field. This is location 3. This is pretty much our last option in Sandbach, in walking distance at least. There's a few issues already. There's a car alarm going off. It's going to be a big problem. And there's houses. And
a little bit of noise.
yes.
Still hear cars going.
And there's a lot of birds. They're too happy.
Too happy for our scene.
Yes. Doing a horror, we don't know what chirping birds. So we'll have to kill the birds. It's like
Probably shoot him, yeah.
just smoke them out or something.
Wood areas, quite spaced out.
Yeah, it's not really as dense as we wanted it to.
No.
It's also quite thin in the sense that, I mean, if I was to do that shot from that angle at that shot, it's too bad to be honest, because this is probably perfect in the sense that it's kind of mossy looking. It's the trees are kind of perfect, but too thin. Unless we did it really well and made sure not to get the houses in, this would be a big help. But unfortunately,
Nope.
don't have the time.
So, location 3.
Location 3. What's our verdict?
Not so good.
No. Okay. Thanks for watching.
End of program. In the last bit of research, I used Photoshop to create a poster for our horror film. And we found this helpful because it was almost like a goal for us to aim towards.
I then used the poster to create a questionnaire because we wanted to know how the public would interpret it.
We found that most people thought it was a horror because of the bare trees and the colour of the background. We did also have a comment on the lamppost which suggested that it was present day, which was the effect we wanted.
We then asked what type of horror they thought it would actually represent, and we found that everyone said that psychological horror because the bare trees, there's no graphic images, which is stereotypical of a slasher or a gore horror, and that's what we wanted to do.
One of the most interesting comments we had was that he thought it had a religious aspect to it. And this is because of the name sin, which refers to when somebody breaks the divine law which God has set.
For example, Christianity believes that the first sin was when Adam picked the apple from the tree of knowledge.